to our Sagittarius call for this month, Energy, Astrology, and Intuition, Part 1. And I'm so happy you're all here tonight. Thank you for zooming in and joining live or watching this on the recording. We're all connected in this timeless moment of now. My name is Mary Beth Wollenschlager, and I'm the founder of Love Your Life in Sync. And I don't know why I started here. I meant to start here. There we go. Okay, so again, my name is Mary Beth, and I am the founder of Love Your Life in Sync. At Love Your Life in Sync, we share heart harmonizing tools to help you better connect and understand the greatest stress management tool ever, your own heart. We also offer astrology classes and readings to help you become more self-aware and learn how to work with your own heart. I love to say, we all have a heart, but do we really know how it works? Do we really know what it can help us do? So we do all that, the heart harmonizing, the astrology, to help you sync up with a life that you will love, a life where you will say, I love my life, and mean it. Say it with greater authenticity and with greater frequency. So I'm really happy you're here tonight because together we're going to aim. Sagittarius, one of the symbols for Sagittarius is the archer. We're going to aim towards the energies of Sagittarius, which are going to show up on the planet next week, just in time for Thanksgiving. Sagittarius is about abundance and expansion and thinking big and eating big, right? It's no coincidence that we celebrate one of the biggest eating feasts and time of abundance during Sagittarius season. And we're also going to explore tonight the idea of the sacredness of hope. So the Sag energies invite us to go up and out. That's how an arrow is shot, up and out, right? Otherwise it would, if you have to shoot it up and out, or it would just crash into the ground. It's also how a bird is released, right? Throw the bird up in the air. I've had the pleasure of going to wildlife rehab places where they take animals out and release them, and I've seen like hawks get released, and that's what they do. They throw it up in the air and let it fly off. So Sag is also connected with freedom. I'm going to invite you to consider for a moment if this would be a freeing thought for you, or maybe it wouldn't be a freeing thought for you. But consider for the moment, I don't know what I don't know. So possibly there is more to the story. There's more than I can see. And Sag also loves a good story. Sag loves telling a good story. So maybe things don't look the way I want them to. Well, Sag, also the adventurer and the explorer, Sag doesn't mind when things don't look the way we expect them to or want them to look. It's more exciting for Sag when it's not what was expected. And Sag will ask you, what are you willing to do? And perhaps even more importantly, what will you do? Sag reminds us, hope is a choice. Will I remember that I don't know what I don't know, and maybe there is more to the story? Will I choose hope and treat that choice as a sacred one? During our call tonight, we'll be putting our energy into understanding the qualities of Sag. This will activate them more strongly in our lives, meaning we'll be on the lookout for them, and we'll be more apt to notice the Sag energy when it shows up. We'll be prepared for it, something astrology helps us with. by paying attention to the patterns in nature and the patterns in the sky. I like to say that astrology helps us to stay in sync with the seasons. On tonight's call in part 1, we'll warm up our hearts with a heart harmonizing practice. Then we'll move into the astrology portion so we can better embrace the Sag energies. Then we'll practice exercising our intuition with a group tarot reading. In part 2, we'll share our interpretations, and then we'll offer some practices for Sag season. So for now, let us warm up our hearts with a heart harmonizing practice, reminding us that hope is a choice and nothing has to change but me. So I invite you, if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes to minimize distractions for you, and you can put your hand on your heart if that feels good. Focus your attention in the area of your heart and imagine your breath is flowing in and out of the heart or chest area. As you start to breathe a little more slowly and deeply than usual, find a nice, comfortable rhythm with equal inhales and exhales. And consider for a moment the possibility, I don't know what I don't know. You can even think of something that might be bothering you right now. And if you don't have anything personally that's bothering you, all you have to do is turn on the news and you'll find something that bothers you. So maybe we don't understand what is happening in our world. Maybe it's really bothering us. But we don't know the whole story. So continue to focus on the heart, allowing the breath to flow in and out. Consider again, I don't know what I don't know. Would I be willing? Would I be willing not to choose sides? Would I be willing to choose hope? Hope that somehow, some way, there's some miracle that if I stop choosing sides, maybe war will end. Because war is about choosing sides. Is it possible? So I invite you to activate the feeling of hope by remembering a time when you were hopeful. You felt buoyant and hopeful. And if you can't feel buoyant and hopeful now, then think of something that makes you smile. Think of something that makes your heart sing. And let your body feel that song. Let that song turn into hope. Let your body start radiating hope, as if your heart were a little sun with rays. Rays of hope are flowing to your whole body. And then because hope is so big and Sagittarius is so expansive, that hope can't be contained in your body. So that hope, like a pebble dropped in a pond, is rippling out of your body, rippling out into the space you're sitting in, the room you're sitting in, filling the space all around you, in front of you, behind you, above you, and below you, filling it with hope. Sacred hope. something that we don't take for granted, something we're not cavalier with, something we put our heart into, believing in the power of hope, believing we can choose hope. And then we start radiating that hope again, like that pebble dropped into the water, rippling out. It goes beyond the four walls we're sitting in, out into our neighborhoods, rippling out into the cities, across our states, across our countries. Spreading, thinking of our hearts as little transistors, radiating hope. Sharing it with each other and letting it grow bigger and stronger until our entire country is covered with the vibration of hope. And letting that hope sink down into the earth and rise up into the sky, and then gaining more strength, more courage. It takes courage to have hope. And letting the United States radiate hope to the rest of the world. Letting that hope spread across our planet, circling the planet. Just picture it. Imagine all beings on this planet at some level, maybe not a conscious level, but at some level being able to sigh out a breath of relief, that maybe there's hope. Maybe there's some people that still believe in hope, even if some of us are struggling to believe in hope. What the world needs now is hope, sweet hope. And so we're letting our hearts vibrate the frequency of hope for anyone in need of hope, for anyone that doesn't believe in hope anymore, for anyone feeling hopeless. We can be that hope for them. And we know it's an honor to do this work. It's a sacred honor to share our hope. No hope ever goes wasted. And so because this is November and the month of Thanksgiving here in America, we give thanks that we have the capabilities to hope. And now we can start to draw our broadcast back in, closer back to our neighborhood, back to our home, back to the space we're sitting in, back into our hearts. And we can remember anytime we feel down or called to share our hope, we can activate hope and just share it. Put that vibration into the field, because we are not only a part of the field, we feed the field and we are fed by the field. So we are fed by our own thoughts and we share those thoughts, and we'll never know what effect they have. But I hope they have a positive effect. And when you're ready, we will continue on with our astrology portion. So now we're talking about Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is the philosopher, the traveler, the learned professor, the higher. Sag is about higher education. Sag is the ninth sign of the zodiac. It's opposite the third sign. The third sign is Gemini. Gemini is about school, like learning to. Gemini is the first experience outside of the home, generally, and like that's usually school. Sag is the foreign experience. Sag goes far and wide. Sag is the college professor. Sag is a storyteller. Sag can be larger than life. Sag is the symbol for Sag is the centaur, which is half man and half animal. Just looking at that, look how wild that looks. So Sag can be wild. Sag can be larger than life. Having both the characteristics of man and animal, there's this untamed nature that's associated with Sag that perhaps that's what makes Sag the adventurer and the explorer and willing to accept. I don't know what I don't know, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to explore. And Sag is also connected with the archer. So we see here the centaur with the archer aiming. So that arrow aims up, up and out. So Sag is also a fire sign. So that contributes to like some of the wildness of the nature. It's yang, meaning it's an outwardly expressing sign. The sign before Sagittarius is Scorpio, and that was a yin sign. Scorpio goes in, so now Sag answers Scorpio by going out, expressing outwardly. It's that yang energy. It's the giving energy. It's mutable, meaning it's the last sign in the fall season. The three astrological signs of fall are Libra, Scorpio, and Sag. So with Sag, we're transitioning out of fall and we're going into winter. So Sag is what we call mutable and changeable. And Sag, the element associated with Sag is fire. So here we see people lighting candles. And I always think of lighting candles as a sign of believing in hope, believing in possibilities, lighting a candle for change, lighting a candle for a different experience, lighting a candle for hope, lighting a candle for new possibilities, that idea that it can change, it's mutable. So Sag brings about change. You know, with Scorpio, we were in the heart of fall. And Scorpio can be set in their ways. But Sag is open-minded and willing to shift. Sag is a very willing sign. Sag can be larger than life. So some key words for Sagittarius, I've mentioned some of them already. This idea that larger than life. Think of anybody that has a birthday generally between November 23rd and December 21st, somewhere around there. Think of anybody that you might know. And of course, it's going to depend on where the rest of the planets are in their chart, but it means the sun is in the sign of Sagittarius. And so I can think of several Sagittarians that I know that are literally larger than life. They just have an outlook that's generally positive and even when they tell their stories, right? Like I love it when I hear a Sag tell a story when I was there. And I think of, well, I didn't think of it that way. You know what? It didn't happen that way for me. But they tell the story and it's bigger and better and it's expansive for sure. And Sag invites us to look up at the sky because from our perspective on the planet, what is the biggest thing we could look at? Of course, it's the sky. Whether it's the night sky or the blue sky during the day, or even the stormy sky, the cloudy, the dark cloud skies. It's the largest thing that we have to look at. And looking up physically, when we physically lift our eyes and our head to look up, there's an energy that's going upward, a positivity. So Sag is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter, oh, I have a little kitty here who's being vocal and jovial. The life of the party, my kitty is. And she loves freedom. She's not a Sag. She must have some Sag in her chart. She's a Taurus, but she must have some Sag because she loves the freedom of being an indoor outdoor kitty. But Sag is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is known as the Santa Claus planet. It's the planet that is very giving and jovial and generous of heart. Sag is about journeys and telling stories and adventure and hope and holiness. Sagittarius is associated with like a hierarchy system of the learned, the sages, the holy ones. It's also associated with judges. But I think we're shifting away from this idea of judgment. I think we don't know what we don't know. And so I think we're shifting the way we look at astrology, the way we look at things on our planet. We're making some shifts. So historically, Sagittarius has been associated with judging. I'll just throw that out there. I think that's shifting. I don't think we need to focus on that as much. And the colors associated with Sag are sky blue and rainbows, because of course, rainbow is that symbol of hope. So those are colors to bring into your awareness. If you want to bring Sag into your awareness, find some ways to work with those colors this month. So now, Cricket has other ideas. She wants to move on. So now we are ready for our tarot exercise where we're going to access our intuition. So there's 2 steps involved, I think, to simplify it, to accessing our intuition for our reading. And the first is to connect to your heart. So we're going to do just another brief heart harmonizing exercise to connect with the heart. So once again, put your hand over your heart and imagine your breath flowing in and out of your heart as you breathe a little slower and deeper, finding an easy, comfortable rhythm with equal inhales and exhales. Think of something you want to be hopeful about and tell yourself, allow yourself, be willing to imagine you can be hopeful about a situation. And then just feel that hope traveling down your body, out your feet, connecting to the earth. And on your inhale, bring that hope in up to the heart. Let it flow out of the heart. On your exhale. On your inhale, draw it into your heart. And on your exhale, let it flow out through your third eye, which is the space between your eyebrows and your forehead, the seat of your intuition. Inhale it into the third eye, back down to the heart. Inhale it into the heart and send it out the top of your head, your crown chakra, connecting you with your higher knowing. And then inhale from the crown chakra back down to your heart. And so from this place of hopefully feeling connected and whole, like your energy is with you and a little more relaxed, the next step is to remember not to overanalyze anything. Just trust what comes to you. You can't do this wrong. Now we're going to take a look at our questions, and I'm going to start to shuffle the deck. Seems like Cricket is shuffling the deck, but she's playing with some papers. I don't know if you can hear that. Cricket, please stop that. Please stop that. Come here. Okay, come on. Okay. All right. So now we're going to shuffle the deck, and I invite you to focus on these questions. I have a larger than life kitty tonight. She's demonstrating some Sag qualities. What will help me to remember that hope is sacred? That being hopeful is a sacred practice. What will help me to remember that? Because there's so many things going on in our world now, it's just so easy to get distracted. So what's going to anchor for me that hope is sacred? And I'm pulling a card now, and we're getting the Chariot reversed. The Chariot is a major arcana card, which means it's connected with a major time in our life. So it's one of the more significant, it's like a bigger picture type of card. And then the second question, so focus on the second question, is together we're doing this reading. Where can I practice hopefulness? Where can I practice hopefulness in my daily life? Where can I practice hopefulness? And we got the Two of Swords. I think the past 6 months, I think every reading we've gotten swords, and swords are the mental energy. So what's going to happen now is I am going to pause the recording in a moment. And we're going to, for all those that are on the call live, we'll take a look at the cards together and share what our insights are, how we can maybe answer these questions. If you're watching on YouTube, I invite you to consider these questions and the cards. Again, the first card, what will help me to remember that hope is sacred? And we got the Chariot, which is Roman numeral number 7. The deck I'm using is called the Rider-Waite Radiant deck. And the second card Where can I practice hopefulness? The card was the Two of Swords. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're invited to just like consider for yourself what you see in these cards instead of like Googling what somebody else says about those cards. But we will stop the stop the call, stop the recording, share our reading, and then we'll come back with part two